Okay. All right, so welcome everyone. We are just about to get started. We're just going to wait a minute to let everybody join in. I can see that people are joining in already. And yeah, I want to extend a warm welcome to everybody on this Friday afternoon, wherever you are. Hopefully you're having a good day so far. My name is Musher Chaudhry, and I'm the manager of recruitment and sales for Chang School. And before we get started, I want to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I want to pay my respects to the Indigenous peoples, elders, and ancestors who stewarded and cared for nature and people who lived on the land where TMU is located today. At the university, we've made a deep and long-lasting commitment to truth and reconciliation, and I invite you to learn more about this work online. Now I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb other attendees or our presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And you will have the opportunity to submit questions to our presenters and speakers by typing your questions into the question box of the control panel. Now I'd like to introduce our presenters and speakers for today. First, we have Junie Facey, academic coordinator for the nonprofit certificate. And then we have Ben Liatsky, who is a course instructor of our certificate. Welcome you all. I will now invite Junie to provide a brief overview of the certificate. Welcome, Junie.
Thank you, Mr. And thank you everyone for joining us today. So my name is Junie Facey, and I thought it might be helpful to share a little bit about myself. I've been an instructor here at TMU for about 14 years and in the Chang School, and in the nonprofit sector, working primarily in management for about 30 years. And as Mashur identified, I have recently become the academic coordinator for this certificate program since October of last year. So our nonprofit and voluntary sector management program was the first interdisciplinary university certificate program in this topic area in Canada, and it was launched in 1998. The 8 courses in the program can be completed in as little as 8 months to 5 years and is offered primarily online. However, at times, we do offer a few courses in a hybrid format, which means most of the course is online, and there are 3 in-person Saturdays to provide that face-to-face experience. Next slide, please. Some of the trends and emerging opportunities that we see include that Canadian nonprofits operate both locally and globally. Canada's charitable sector is the largest in North America, second to the Netherlands in the world, and contributes about 151 billion to Canada's GDP each year, which is more than finance, gas, and the oil industries. With 170,000 organizations, the career opportunities are significant, ranging from government, business, and community, and the sector is adaptable. Next slide, please. So who should take this program? The program is for professionals already in the nonprofit sector or people who want to make an impact. So, for example, emerging leaders, emerging founders, people transitioning in their career, undergraduates, people from the public and private sector, and anyone wanting to learn more about the nonprofit sector and how to effectively lead in it. Next slide, please. The career paths include local, national, and international nonprofits and charities, sector-wide organizations and associations, think tanks, policy, advocacy, government and government nonprofits, business and corporate social responsibility, business nonprofits, and professional associations. Next slide, please. By completing the certificate, you will master organizational practices and sector dynamics, develop skills in financial management, evaluation, strategic planning, and marketing, enhance leadership, advocacy, and government relations expertise, promote effective governance strategies and equity, diversity, and inclusion, gain insight on Canada's international NGOs, understand and critically reflect on key issues and opportunities. Next slide, please. As I mentioned earlier, there are 8 courses. 4 of them are required and 4 are electives. To graduate, you will need a GPA of about a C minus, which is between 60 to 62% cumulatively. Next slide, please. And we have a suggested path in the order of courses that you take. So as I mentioned, there are 4 required, CNIP 900 and CNIP 901. So 900 is our Understanding the Nonprofit Sector. It is a required course. And we want you to take that as well as 901, which is the Effective Nonprofit Organizations, first to start the program. And then you can take any of the following in the order that you choose. So CNIP 902 is a required. It is Evaluation for Nonprofits. CNIP 910 is Strategic Planning. 911 is Advocacy and Government Relations in Nonprofits. 912 is our Marketing course. 913 is our Leadership. 914 is Diversity in Nonprofits. 915 is Financial Management. 916 is Nonprofits on the Global Stage. So of that grouping, you need to take 4 of the non-required, and 902 is a required course, as well as 920, which we hope that you will close off the certificate in taking, and that is our critical issues in nonprofits. I think that's the ending of what I need to share. So, Michelle, I'm going to pass it back to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Junie, for taking us through this quick overview of the certificate. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our course instructor at the Chang School, Ben Liadsky, who's also a program manager at the Counseling Foundation of Canada and also a research consultant at Taylor Newberry Consulting. Ben will share a little bit about his experience in the industry and some emerging trends that he might be seeing, and anything else about the course that you can share. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Mr. And hello, everyone. My name is Ben Liadsky, as you heard. I've been teaching the CNIP 902 Evaluation for Nonprofits course for the last 3 editions. And I've been working in the nonprofit sector for 16 years. I started for a small environmental advocacy nonprofit, and today I'm on the other side of the fence working for a grant-making foundation that supports career development. I've also been doing some part-time evaluation work as a consultant for the past 8 years. In my experience, I think evaluation is one of the key ingredients for any successful nonprofit. And I'd like to give you 3 examples of how it can show up across different types of organizations and roles. So first, you might imagine that you're on the front lines in the employment sector providing some kind of job training program to support newcomers. And, we might think of one session as around resume support, another session could be job searching, a third could be interview prep. And you have a client who comes for the first one and everything goes great, but they don't show for the second session. And you go, that's strange. And then you have another client, they come to the first one again, and it goes great, but they don't come to the second session. Evaluation might help you to ask the question, well, why aren't the clients coming back? What do they need that we're not serving? So that's sort of one use case. Second example, let's say you're a fundraiser and you are part of an organization that runs an arts summer camp for youth that might have financial barriers. And you hear anecdotally from fellow staff and from some of the participants that it's great. Youth are coming out of that camp feeling more confident, learning new skills, making kind of lifelong friends. And you're like, more people should be able to access this program. Evaluation might help that fundraiser to be able to tell that story better, to raise funds, to get more support so more people can attend. And then the third one, let's say you're at a food bank and you're a senior leader or you're a board member, and there's an idea to launch a new program that's, maybe a little bit different. Maybe it's around, some kind of community garden where people would learn how to grow food and meet some of their neighbors. But you have to decide around resources. You have to decide if it fits with your strategic plan. You have to decide, what impact it would have and what need it's filling in the community that maybe isn't there, that isn't offered by other organizations. Evaluation can help you to provide some clarity to that. So whatever the case may be, evaluation is a tool to help answer important questions to contribute to stronger organizations. And it's really something that anyone can do. So, in my part-time role, I have this kind of title of a research consultant, and I do evaluation kind of professionally. But anyone can do evaluation. And, maybe you did this yourself in your personal life the last time you went to the grocery store and you're walking down the aisle and you're trying to decide, say, between 2 different kinds of cookies. So maybe you asked yourself, does this cookie brand fit with my values? Or maybe you looked at the prices and said, does this one better value? Or you looked at the ingredients and said, is this one healthy? Maybe you even had some kind of existential crisis where you're sitting there going, are cookies even gonna make me happy? Do I even like cookies anymore? So nonprofit evaluation, to be fair, is a little bit more complicated than that, but the same processes in terms of reflecting and asking important questions, using data and being curious still apply. So, just to kind of wrap up, I'll say that, when times are tough, and I think it's sort of clear that it's tough times these days, nonprofits are often called on even more so than normal to meet the increased demands of their communities. And you can see this in lots of different ways. Food bank use, for instance, is on the rise. And this presents both opportunities for nonprofits in terms of thinking about how to perhaps do things differently to better serve their communities. And it also presents challenges in terms of thinking about how best to manage resources. An evaluation is sort of perfectly fit to help answer some of those challenges and address some of those opportunities. I sometimes feel when I read the news that data and evidence seems to no longer matter anymore, and I can get kind of like depressed in my spiraling around what's going on. But then, I go back to my work and my experience in the nonprofit sector and the people that I've met in the evaluation course that I've taught, and I'm reminded that evaluation is still a really good tool, and that when done well, it helps to shine a light on important issues that are happening in our communities across the country. It can help bring people together and inspire action. And so I think what I want to leave you with is that evaluation is really a core tool in the nonprofit sector. I think it's more important than ever. In the course that I teach, there's a variety of issues that we'll talk about, and you don't have to be an expert in evaluation to do evaluation.
Thank you so much, Ben. No, that was amazing. I really loved all the insight that you're sharing, and yes, it's definitely a time where we need to stick together, and it's definitely a time where this sector is going to see a lot of traffic and uptick. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Now, just before we get into our Q&A, I know on our call we have Abby, who is our academic and career advisor. And there's a lot that Abby and her team does for all of our prospective students as well. So I just want to bring her for a couple of minutes and share some thoughts about how her team works and operates. Welcome, Abby.
Thank you, Mashur. Hi, everyone. My name is Abby. Like Mashur said, I am an academic and career advisor here at the Chang School. I do work alongside my colleague, Dave Dalrymple, who is not on call today, but we both sort of share the role. We're sort of here to help you with and guide you really through your academic journey here at TMU. We can help you with better understanding the academic opportunities available to you, the resources and the support available to help you succeed during your time at TMU. And whether you're a prospective student, just trying to figure out how to navigate your career and how TMU and Chang School in specific can help you, or if you're already enrolled and just have some questions about course enrollment or career guidance, we're here to help both of you. I'll drop the link in the chat here for you, and you can book an appointment with myself or with Dave. And then you'll also notice on that page that there's another contact named Dina Marcos. She is exclusively available to current Chang School students. So if you're already enrolled, you can go ahead and book an appointment with her. She can offer more one-on-one support when it comes to specifically reviewing your resume, your cover letter, prepping for an interview, and things like that. So these services are available to you. I'll drop the link here in just a minute, and we'll be happy to discuss and meet with you if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abby. And I just want to emphasize that Abby's being very modest here. There's a lot more that her and her team does with our prospective students and current students, and we can't thank you enough. So thank you again for sharing that little info for us. Okay, so we will now we're now at the end of our presentation section. We'll now do a quick poll before we get our Q&A started, just to get things going. So I'm going to launch the poll right now, and hopefully everybody can answer. I'll just read it out. We want to just do a quick poll just to see what matters most, right? What are the most important skills that everyone here thinks is in the nonprofit industry today? So we've got leadership and change management as the first one. And then we've got financial management and fundraising as the second one, relationship building and advocacy as the third, and diversity and equity practices as the last one. So we'll leave the poll up for about 30 more seconds, and then we'll share the results and go into Q&A. Now I see we already have a couple of questions that have come in, and we'll be happy to answer those. So yeah, once again, I'll prompt everybody to put in whatever questions you have into the Q&A box. And all right, we're gonna end the poll here and share the results. So it looks like everyone thinks relationship building and advocacy is the most important skills, followed by financial management and fundraising, and leadership and change management. And we didn't have anybody that selected diversity and equity practices. So I just want to let everyone know that, yeah, you know, we see where you're coming from totally, and want to share that all of these are actually in some facet or another covered in our certificate. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing the poll results, and we can go into Q&A. Now, the first question that we have right now is the 3 courses that we take on site mandatory to take on site? So Junie, maybe you can start with that. And
No, the program is actually mostly offered online. So even the courses that may be available in a hybrid format, they are usually available at some point during the year, completely online.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Next question is, what funding options like Better Jobs Ontario are available, and is the certificate approved for these for those funding options? Sorry.
Don't have any knowledge about that. I'd have to better understand what that funding stream is about, but we're not necessarily connected to funding for the program.
Got it. Okay, yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. And I know Safia, our client services representative, is also typing an answer for that question. So for everybody, we can take a look at that as well. Next question is,
Thank
how
you.
does the program help students find nonprofit jobs or placements or volunteering opportunities through networking or career services?
Is that a question maybe Abby may want to jump into?
Yeah. Abby, did you want to maybe share a little bit about that? No, not sure if Abby is on the call, but yeah, definitely. I know there is our career services that are available to all of our students that enroll in a course or in any of the certificates. Like Abby mentioned, they can help you out with resumes, job interview prep, and things like that. We don't have any direct placements that are available through the certificate, but overall, we can always help you with those. And the school always hosts networking events from time to time. So please look out on our events page for that, and hopefully there will be something that interests you and you can join in for that. Ben, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
Just on a sort of more of a micro scale, like in my course, in the evaluation course, and I think this is probably true for all of the courses, the people that attend are from a broad cross section of the sector. People who have some, very experienced executive directors who've been around for a long time. You have people who are just starting their career. And particularly for the hybrid courses, when people do have that opportunity to come together, there is sort of just natural networking that occurs through the class where people are sharing what they're working on, sharing events, sharing opportunities. And likewise, as an instructor, I've always been happy to share my insight around, professional development opportunities related to evaluation. There's sort of networks, there's meetups, there's a variety of things that I'm happy to connect people to and share my knowledge anytime. So I think just within each course, I think you'll find that the instructors are happy to share their knowledge, and the other students that are there are also, I think, often people who are passionate about this stuff and happy to sort of connect and help the best that they can.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Just moving right along, we've got a few questions here. Next one is from Jennifer Jackson. Thank you, Jennifer, for your question. Looking to return to the workforce after a long break from working in publishing, and have been an account executive, worked in nonprofits and sold advertising, and looking to now segue into nonprofit. Most employers are asking for design experience and direct nonprofit work. Will this course offer any design work, and what type of jobs might that result in?
So at this point, we don't have design work or design skill development in the program, but we are undergoing a review, and so that might be something for us to think about. How else do we expand the offering of the program in the future?
Great. Okay, next question is regarding what type of job posts are or roles you could possibly fill in nonprofit organizations once you take this certificate.
when I think about the program, it is geared around leadership or management in the nonprofit sector, but management in the nonprofit sector does not necessarily mean you need to be in a formal leader manager role. Uh, Being someone who is addicted to learning personally, I think that no learning is uh, a waste. So any learning positions you. Um, Over the years, because I've been teaching for many years in the program, people reach out after a number of years and say, you know, this program changed my life. It changed what I viewed as important in the nonprofit sector, and it changed the trajectory of my career. I think it's individual based, how people apply the learning to what they do next in their life. But I have heard the confidence, the skill building, and feeling equipped to better manage what the nonprofit today is offering, facing, is something that people have said has been helpful for them in going through the program.
So thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Ben, is there anything you'd like to add to that? Are there any roles that you think someone would possibly be able to fill after this taking this certificate in NP organizations, nonprofit organizations?
Yeah, I think the sector is very diverse. There's a slide that Junie spoke to earlier around 170,000 charities and nonprofits across the country. Within a variety of organizations, you can have people that are doing comms roles, accounting, HR, senior management, frontline services. Like it sort of does depend, as Junie was saying, a little bit about what you're interested in. Having said that, I will say over the past few years, more than that, I have seen a positive trend in the sector in terms of professionalization. And I think courses like this help, or certificate programs like this help with that. There is more of an emphasis on people who have a broad sort of cross-section understanding about what it's like to work in a nonprofit, do have some kind of awareness and skills in things like evaluation or financial management. Those I think do give you a leg up in terms of finding work. So I think, depends on what you want to do in terms of your career. But a certificate program like this gives you, I think, different pathways to figure out what you want to do, and gives you sort of a little bit of different elements of working in a nonprofit.
Yeah, love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Ben. I think that that explains what you can do in the sector and around the sector as well. Next question is from Samantha Bernstein. Thank you for your question, Samantha. I saw that policy work was one career pathway this certificate can lean towards. Can you speak a bit more about how these courses prepare students for work in that field? Junie, maybe you want to start with that?
Sure. I think our core courses would be ones that would help with that understanding. And let me just remember what the names were. So we're understanding the nonprofit sector, effective nonprofit organizations, and not necessarily our core course, but our advocacy and government relations would be courses that I believe would provide some knowledge and connection to additional material that you could tap into for that public policy skill area.
Sweet. No, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Ben?
Just again, as an evaluation evangelist, there's connections between evaluation and policy too, in terms of understanding effects of policy, impacts of policy, whether policy is a good, investment of resources and time for the organization. So I think you'll find that there's it's sort of cross-cutting policy in a lot of ways. And so you'll see some connections in a few different courses.
We'll stay with you for the next question to start, Ben, because you might be able to speak a little bit from the course that you are teaching. Are the course assignments mostly individual, or they include group projects or coordination? Maybe you can share about that, and then Junie, you can add to that.
Yeah, in the evaluation course, there's 2 individual assignments and then a final individual exam. There is participation grades as well, and some of the participation grades will involve working in small groups.
Mhm. So thanks, Ben, because yes, so mostly individual assignments, but opportunities like our hybrid courses where we have the in-person times, that allows us to offer a little bit more of that group interaction and working on activities together. Since the pandemic, I've actually seen us do a little less group work in the program. So, because now we have students from all over the world.
So, I know this question was answered in chat, but I feel like this might be something that's that everybody can benefit from. One of the questions from Sega, I believe. Sorry, no, it was the question from Madison asking if this certificate is similar to our program evaluation certificate, and does this give you more of a well-rounded basis of the nonprofit world in whole? So I know Safia very nicely answered, you know, the nonprofit certificate is open admission, which comprise of courses that are at the undergraduate level, and the program eval is a postgraduate level certificate, and students should have an undergraduate degree already. So that's a big distinction between those two certificates, between program eval and nonprofit. But if you can share a little bit about if it gives a more well-rounded basis of the nonprofit world in whole, Ben, maybe you can start, and then Junie, you can add to that.
Yeah, so I guess the intention of the evaluation course within the certificate program is not to make you into an evaluator where you're going to be doing data collection and all of that. It's again sort of understanding the function of evaluation within nonprofits. So understanding what questions you need to ask, resource implications, how to understand what kind of approach best makes sense for your organization. So it's almost about how to manage an evaluation process rather than being the doer who's going to go out and, you know, survey the people or, you know, run the focus groups directly. It's like a little bit higher level to say, how will evaluation be best used in my organization? What do I need to know? What are the questions that I need to answer to determine if evaluation is right? And then what specific type of evaluation would be helpful?
And thanks, Bennett. I don't think I have much more to add. Just I think it's a difference between a specialization of a whole certificate versus one course as part of a certificate of 8 courses. So it's really about specialization.
Awesome. No, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. We don't have any more open questions as of now. If there are any more questions, I know we've got a few more minutes. Feel free to put them in our question box. But yeah, for now, I have a few questions that that we've gotten from our email inbox before. And someone wants to know who's worked in comms and marketing as a comms and marketing lead at nonprofits, and then since worked for startups, and now wants to know that will this certificate help build a portfolio to enter the nonprofit world beyond you know, just the certificate credentials? Is there a portfolio that they can build through the certificate?
So unfortunately, I'm still a little new to the broader aspects of the certificate. Uh, it's not ringing a bell to me that there's a portfolio component to our marketing course. But we could certainly find out and, send that information if someone wants to leave their information.
All right, no, thanks. Thank you for that. Definitely, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to answer them for you. One more question that came in before the info session via email was, somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience, has been a stay-at-home mom for the last 5 years and wants to revive their career, looking into the nonprofit sector and possibly finishing this certificate, but really not sure without any experience. Can they take it? What advice would you have for someone like that?
Mhm. I teach two courses specifically in the certificate, the leadership course and the strategic planning course. And oftentimes, it's the individuals who don't have any experience who bring a level of curiosity that I think actually helps them excel even further than others in the course. We want to develop critical thinking skills and see that as a very important aspect in our nonprofit and voluntary sector management sector as skill areas. And, that curiosity, that asking questions, that thinking about things without, the background sometimes puts people at an advantage. So new is actually good.
Ben, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, just going back to my cookie example, you don't have to be an expert to take the evaluation course. You're not reading dense academic articles. It's much more practical. It's much more trying to relate to real world situations. So it's more sort of case study based. So I hope that anyone would feel comfortable regardless of their level of expertise in the evaluation course.
Awesome. Great. Okay, so we haven't had any more questions come in. What I can do is we have one last poll that we wanted to do, which was just to we want to gather some feedback from everybody that's attended as to, how we're doing, how we can improve. So we'll go ahead and put that poll in. Oops. Where did that go? Here we go. And yes, all of your feedback is important for us. So you could just answer, if your questions were all answered today, that'll be really helpful for us in our future info sessions. But yeah, it's been a pleasure hosting this info session. I don't see any further questions coming in, so we can finish a couple of minutes early and maybe give you back a few minutes. Before I do my closing remarks, I want to put a call out to our panel here if there's any last words that you want to share before we do our closing remarks.
Thanks, Mashur. I think these opportunities to find out a little bit more about the program are invaluable. And when I think about my own career, very early, I took a couple of courses in the Chang School, and that eventually led to my undergrad at TMU. And so I see this Chang School, TMU, as opening doors for people's careers and the opportunities that, it's sort of like shaping the possibilities. And I love TMU. I'm a champion of TMU. So, you know what? I know that I've met people across my career who, when I've seen how they operate, and then I learned they were a TMU student, it speaks to the quality of the education and the intentionality around what is taught and the feedback that we have taken over the years and how we improve our programs.
I would just say thank you for listening to me. And if I were to wear my evaluation hat, I might sort of say one of the indications that this program has made a meaningful difference is that it's been around for quite a long time. Programs don't exist forever if they're not working well. So I think, that's one data point to look at, but I think it's not something to sort of sneeze at, that there's a history, and I can't even imagine how many people have probably come through the certificate program over the years. So, keep that in mind, that people have come through here who've probably been in similar positions like yourself, and there's probably lots of stories to tell there.
Thank you so much, both Junie and Ben. Very, very well put. I couldn't have put it better myself. And I want to now take this moment to thank both our presenter and speaker. Thank you, Abby and Randall and Safia for working in the background and answering our questions and keeping us going. And thank you for all of our attendees for taking the time out of your day to attend today's online session on Friday afternoon. If you're interested in learning more about the certificate presented today, please visit our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. If you have any other questions, you can contact me directly at mash.chaudhry@torontomu.ca. The information that was shared, the recording and survey will be emailed to you within the next 24 to 48 hours. And on behalf of the Chang School and our presenters, I want to thank you again for joining us today, and have a great rest of the day.